that we will overcome the direction that we're headed is with a change in leadership. Now, I serve with 40 Republicans in the United States Senate. Yeah, I hope it gets more after the next election. But I'm also the guy that has to count votes in the United States Senate. I'm the Chief Deputy Whip. Considering that you have to have 41 to keep bad things from happening, we're not in a real good position. It means every close vote, I have to reach out to a Democrat and try to hold their hand as long as it takes before we get ready to go to a vote. That's why it didn't trouble me much when Arlen Specter switched parties. Because I spent 2 days a week holding Arlen's hand, knowing that on the day that we voted, he probably wasn't going to actually vote the way he told me. But as we go forward, the only thing I can tell you is the cavalry has to come. When I looked at town meetings, I saw the cavalry. I saw the American people actually engage in a fashion that could achieve change. 2010 could be a watershed year. It could make the 1994 elections that I got elected in seem like a speed bump in a parking lot. You could actually see John Boehner become Speaker and take the gavel from Nancy Pelosi. Oh, God goodness. I'm not predicting it, but it's possible. And it's only possible if one thing happens. If from this day forward, you and others around this country stay engaged in the election process. You know, we went from 2004 through the 2008 elections, and nationally and at the state level, never had a voter registration drive. George Bush won his last election for re-election in 2004 because Karl Rove was smart enough to figure out that they needed to go out and sign up 10 million new Republicans. And if you look back, they signed up 10,400,000 new Republicans, and George Bush won a very close election. And then all of a sudden, Republicans forgot about the need to ask folks to actually register a Republican. And in 2006, we didn't do real well. In 2008, we got our hat handed to us. Republicans can't let that happen again. We've got to go back to the things we know works. There can't be a child that turns 18 that's not asked to be a Republican. There's not a disenchanted Democrat that shouldn't ask to switch and be a Republican. There's not an independent that shouldn't find a home in the Republican Party with the issues that we're dealing with today. And if they won't switch, we can still solicit their support for our candidates, but more importantly, for our beliefs. I don't think what we believe right now is necessarily just Republican. I think it's American. I think that there are Americans across the board that are disenchanted with the direction that we're going. And that will only change if we increase our ranks and change the outcome of the next election. So I'm here early on a Thursday morning really to say thank you to each and every one of you in advance for everything I know you're going to do. If you want a successful election, whether it's the local elections, and I'm getting confused down here whether it's October or November or both. I know in Wake County it's both. Adopt a candidate. Find somebody that you believe in, that you believe is going to make a difference, and adopt them just like you do a highway. A good one up here. Give to them, work for them. But more importantly, as part of the Republican Party, when you get that phone call that says, I need you to do this, don't think of 101 reasons why you can't. Say yes and ask what they need you to do. We've got to start voter registration now, not next year. We've got to reach out and try to get everybody's email address so that these functions are seamless and more importantly, inexpensive to make contacts with folks. We've got to make sure that we drive people to the polls, because leadership makes a difference. Just like we're learning right now, elections have consequences. If we want to change the direction of America, you have to change it through changing the leaders. We're given an opportunity every 2, 4, and 6 years, depending upon what the race is, to evaluate the job performance and to make a change if in fact they score below. It's time for the American people, and I believe 2010 will be a time that the American people fully engage in that process of purging us of the ones that really don't reflect the direction we need to go. So with that, I'm going to, I think, turn to questions.